3, 2, 1, and action.
All right, Achraf, thank you so much for accepting our invitation
Right.
to be like our guest in the Goodfolks podcast. So before starting to record, we were talking about if this is like your first time doing something like this.
Yeah, actually, you can say it's the first time. Once I did it, it was with another radio. I was like 15 years old with high school, and we were talking about mathematics and so on. So
Was that like a part of a school project or something?
yeah, kind of. They invited us to talk about our specialty and what we are doing, how we are studying our
The
high
whole
school.
class? Not the whole.
Five person.
The top five.
Top five. Like.
And you were one of the top five.
Kind of. I were like genius, but not in marks, not in notes.
Not in grades.
Yeah, not in grades, but like, yeah, I was chosen.
So you were genius, but not in grades. Like, what kind of genius were you?
Inside the class, I am a genius. In the exam, I'm not. That's
okay.
The,
So that's like the kind of student who participates a lot, who gets things right.
Yeah.
But when they are confronted with an exam to test their skills, they don't know what they have.
Yeah.
What's the reason?
That's the reason. I can say, like, I don't like to be tested. I like to express myself. I like to express my opinions or what I know, my knowledge, and so on. But I don't like to just copy paste things from what we were doing at class in a paper.
Mhm.
So if those questions were discussed in a discussion, I could answer. I could go to the board and answer that question. But in the exam, it's a little bit hard for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So people know you as someone who works with World Learning. What's your position exactly?
Yeah, so I'm working as STEM education specialist for
Okay.
World Learning. So my job basically is to ensure all the activities at the STEM center or in other corners we have in other wilayas that are going smooth, and we are bringing youth stuff to the center and so on. Yeah.
All right. So do you only work with kids or?
Well, actually, we work with various age categories like middle school, high school, primary, and even university, and it depends on what we are offering. So there are number of workshops that we offer to middle school and primary, just to teach them how to code, how to do robotics. But if we go to high school, university level, we do more advanced workshops in coding and Python, AI, web development, game design, many others.
So it's really focused on technology and internet.
Yeah, so STEM is basically science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and our workshops englobe the everything, the whole.
Yeah.
Course,
So, Achraf, can you tell us more about World Learning? Because there is this, I'm not sure if you know, I'm sure that since you started working with World Learning, probably a lot of people in your network, like friends and family and your neighborhood or wherever, maybe you told them about what World Learning is and the opportunities that they provide. But I don't think that a lot of Algerians know about it or know about the opportunities that they provide. You know, sometimes I used to talk to some of the people who used to study with me at university, and you always tell them, hey, not everything needs like a lot of money. Like, you don't need to, whenever you dream, you don't need to think that, oh, I should have a lot of money in order to study abroad or in order to do a certain workshop. Or I'm like, there are many opportunities out there. And then when I show them some of the sources of those opportunities, I tell them, what about World Learning? Did you check that? Go and like their page, follow them. They post different really cool opportunities, like for example, the ones that address women, Bawsala, and yeah. And so I'm just not sure why not many Algerians like know about these opportunities.
Yeah, I would first tell you a story like happened to me during the month of Ramadan. So it was the shift from face-to-face activities into online activities, and we spent a lot of time, like a whole month, preparing for tutorials and so on, like to deliver workshops online using social media like Facebook, YouTube, and others.
Right.
In my personal account on Facebook, usually when I post anything that doesn't mean anything, I get many likes, many people sharing my posts or commenting on it. But when we started doing the Wisdom Pioneers program, which is a series of workshops online, I saw that people were not reacting to that.
So people, like, they participated, people I know from my network, they participated in the program, they watched the tutorials, they participated in the challenges, but they didn't share that with their community. So I think the major thing is that people do not share when there is something beneficial, they don't share it with others. They just get it, but they don't share it. So the problem here is sharing the information. To see, like, we jumped during that online program from 16,000 followers to 18,000 followers. So it was only 2,000 followers in like a period of 1 month, but it's mediocre compared to what others were doing, like in talks or something. So talks get more people, but something that you are going to learn from, something you are going to create.
What do you mean by talks? Like those conferences?
Yes, people did many initiatives to do talks.
TED Talk, Wiki Stage.
Yes, so people apply for those. People, they share this information. People go to those talks and attend those talks. But when it comes to something technical, something they can create something with, like workshops and so on, something I see more practical in doing, like not just listening. I don't know if it's fear or thinking that they cannot be able to do anything with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never thought about that. It seems that like people usually don't really have the tendency to share such opportunities online. Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure if it has to do with the way we use social media, if we use it like in a bad way, but I don't know. Like, what do you think is like the solution for this?
I think it's up to the new generation that it's coming now. There is a generation where people are just focusing on programming, coding, and this kind of stuff. So these people are the only solution to make technology or STEM more into our society. We see that many people, like in my experience, many people from other wilayas, they want to participate in STEM, they want to do activities, but they don't have the opportunity to do that. They don't have STEM centers in their community. Their high schools or universities do not offer workshops in those fields. It's just theoretical, and no practice. So when we started this online, we saw that most of our new followers, most of our new participants are from other wilayas, wilayas in the south or in the east. So I think this generation that I am currently working with is the key to solve this.
You seem quite optimistic.
Yeah.
Probably because of the people you worked with.
If I may talk about one person I worked with, he's like 19 years old. He's very young. Like I started working with him like when he was 17, and I saw that he is talented in everything. And this guy, when he got his baccalaureate exam, he went to study in Babez, first year ST, and then he just quit because he saw that there is nothing that means to him there. There is nothing practical, nothing that he can learn from. So he stopped, and then he started coming to the center like daily, and I start noticing him. He was learning more than what I learned in 3 years in Babez. He is better than me, or like for 5 years or 6 years, better than me in my field, like in robotics and electronics. And so I think this is a generation that can change the balance between, do we want only theory or we want practice? We want to innovate or we want to talk? So this is I can say the solution. Yeah. So if we focus on this generation, we can find a better future.
Do you think their exposure to technology and AI and all these sort of new things, like this technological advancement in the world, do you think their exposure to that and being good at it will like improve society and the country? And
I think if we go back to history, let's say the history of the golden Muslim age. If we talk about it, you can see that most of the scholars back then were having knowledge in many fields, not just mathematics or just physics, but they know mathematics, they know physics, they know even religious studies and other specialties.
Yeah, planets, astronomy.
Exactly. So if we can forge a new generation that has abilities to do anything, like in coding, in robotics, in chemistry, in mechanics, that's the key to success. And I think many countries, developed countries, that are doing that. Their kids from K-12, they start doing STEM, they start learning robotics, they start to learning mechanics from a very early age. But here in Algeria, we see that we can get exposed to these kind of activities only at the university and not really practical. So this is what we are doing with World Learning and the STEM Center.
So the key of success is like to be, not to be an expert, but just like to be good at many things, different things.
Many fields,
Yeah, I'm not sure how much you read about like the Islamic Golden Age, but it always fascinates me every time like I hear about some of the scientists back then who wrote like hundreds of books. Like when you hear about someone who was living, when was that? Like 1,000 years ago?
Yeah, I think in the Abbasi Caliphate.
Yes, and there are certain scientists who wrote like 800 to 1,000 book.
Yeah, using only
Wow.
pencil and paper.
Yeah, exactly. Like wow, that's just wow.
So considering the time to write those books, the time to make research in order to write those books and in order to innovate, so how can these people manage
And
their
it
time?
wasn't easy to write a book also. I mean, back then they used to write books on the flesh of animals, and then they leave it under the sun until it becomes dry, and then so it like takes really really long time.
Yeah.
But they had the motivation and the energy and the commitment in order to produce those books. And most of those books like were really deep. They talked about the poisons, like plants that has poisons, what they learned about medicines, what they learned about astronomy. Is just amazing. And I just wonder why we don't have that drive anymore as like a society, whether an Algerian or an Arab society or a Muslim society. That motivation, that will, like, it's not there anymore.
I mean, that's what I was talking about. I'm seeing this in this new generation. So many have come to the center, many have left the center, but few kept coming daily to the center, learning new things, developing new things, and getting innovative ideas, and started working on them. So these people, I can see that motivation in them, the motivation to be like their ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I told you, if we focus all our efforts on getting these people the equipment they need, the learning they need, and the I would say the resources they need,
Yeah.
then we can forge a new generation. It's not us, but this coming generation will certainly be like
Something
those
different.
scholars. Yeah.
Back
Yeah.
to that past, yeah.
Yeah, I really hope so. Like you seem really motivated and really optimistic about the whole thing.
I think that's my job, actually.
Your job is to be optimistic.
Yeah, my job is to be optimistic and to always find a solution, an approach to make those learners learn what they came to learn. So, and that's where it comes the UDL part, Universal Design for Learning.
Mhm.
This is an approach we are applying at the center and in all our corners around Algeria. It's a new way to teach any module or any subject. It makes the classrooms more inclusive. The bell curve of having slackers and stars and normal people in the classroom will be removed, and everyone will get the same amount of knowledge and the same time of experience. So, and giving them the same time of experience with the same amount of knowledge will let everyone expose what they have in their hearts or in their minds concerning that topic or that subject. And then you will see if this person fits this subject or not. And then when you see that, for example, Mohammed is not good at robotics, but you see that he is good in programming robots. So you will take Mohammed and give him more knowledge about Python programming, about coding, and let him delve into that world of coding, and then you focus on others in robotics and so on. So this is the approach we are following at the center.
All right, yeah, that sounds really cool. So when you started working for World Learning, did you change in terms of perspectives or the way, just like you see education and you see society? I know that you already had the experience before. I mean, you were the chairman, I guess, of
UNHCR, yeah.
Yeah, in MUN. You also participated in Aiesec, an exchange participant. You went to Turkey. I guess you taught there in a certain school. Yeah. So you already had some experience in being a teacher, in being facilitator, in educating people and young generations. But I think that World Learning is probably like a different experience for you, no?
We can say that World Learning took all my experience, the previous experience, and forged it or sharpened it into something much greater, something more practical, something more, something that can give results.
Right.
If we talk about my previous experience in teaching, like you said, in Turkey, I had to teach STEM in Turkey, by the way, and I was teaching technology and so on, but it was more theoretical. I didn't know how to share my knowledge back then, so I was trying hard to...
When was that, by the way? 2016? Turkey?
What was your year? 2016?
I went to Turkey in 2017. From December 2016 to January 2017.
Yeah, so I was summer 2016 to 2016.
Oh, so you were like months.
Months
Yeah,
before,
I came months after.
Yeah.
Came a couple of months after.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I had previous experience in teaching. I had also previous experience with STEM, where I attended workshops of STEM. I was a participant. And then World Learning, like, firstly trained me to be a teacher, a better teacher, using the universal design for learning. And then I started experiencing that teaching approach with many students for like 2 years at World Learning. I also participated in other events World Learning were organizing to like meet with other people to see how we can do things differently and so on, even like in career orientation and so on, English. And after that, I got recruited to be the STEM guy. Being a STEM specialist is not very easy and it's not very hard. It's just need that you are a person that with initiative, a person that takes initiative. So if you are a person that is proactive, then the job is yours. You will be given the opportunity to get, how we say, to get many things for those kids. So if you have an idea, if you have a project you want to implement, you will be that person. They will choose you for that. So when I was recruited, I started doing like usual tasks of any employee at any work. But with the time coming, I had a supervisor who had another different job, so he went for that different task, and I was left alone to work with the STEM center and another center in Wurgla and 7 other corners in other wilayas. And that it was like really new at the thing. And that's where I thank World Learning for...
So you guys moved to different wilayas?
Yeah. So when I came...
But the center is here in Algiers.
We have many. We don't have in only the Algiers.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
how many wilayas?
9.
That's really cool.
Yes, 9 wilayas.
Yeah, well, can you tell us what are these wilayas? Just like so for people when they listen to this podcast, just to know what World Learning.
So if people want to join our corners or centers in other wilayas, we have in Algiers, the Algiers STEM Center. We have in Wurgla the Wurgla STEM Center, and we have Constantine STEM Corner at private school. We have the CETIF at MBI. We have in Batna. We have also in Oran. We have in Ilwad, and we have in Media.
All right, all those courses, all those opportunities from World Learning for people are for free?
Yes. So
You gotta check that.
Yeah.
The thing is, the thing is that all activities that World Learning is doing are for free. So any program, not only STEM, but even Bausala, for example, is for free for all women who applied. Also, other career orientation projects and development are also for free. Trainings we offer at World Learning headquarters are also for free, and so on. No.
You guys should check that out. World Learning. Check their Facebook page. There are a lot of interesting opportunities there that could really benefit you. So, Achraf, you're not only a World Learning person, but you're also an MUN person. You
Yeah.
got really good experience in MUN in Italy.
Vienna, yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us more? So, by the way, MUN is Model United Nations. Can you tell us more about your experience and what you benefited so far from it?
Yeah.
So actually, MUN was, let's say, the door to everything I achieved so far. My first experience in anything was in Turkey at first with a group named Hezarfan. I went there to do STEM, but it was more than that. Like by night, we usually meet in a group, all the students there in that camp, and we start debating subjects. So that was my first experience with debating, and I was in high school back then.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was in high school when I went to Turkey for the first time to attend a camp, scientific camp. But it was not just scientific, like as I told you. By night, we gather and we do discussions about topics. And then I got fascinated. Like I saw in myself that the person who can debate, the person who can express his ideas. So I was looking for opportunities like that, and I didn't have the network who can share with me this kind of opportunities. I was living in Zeralda, if you know.
Yes.
And
of course.
yeah, only my community was only my neighbors. So I didn't get anyone. I don't know anyone.
Yeah, that's how I started as well.
Yeah. So I was the guy that just go to school, and so when I found that Turkey opportunity, I just applied for it. I didn't wait anything.
How did you find it?
It was a friend of ours, a friend of the family, who came just to visit us, and then he told us that his friend is organizing something in Turkey. So I told him, give me his number, give me his number, I will talk to him. And when I talked to him, it was just dedicated, this program, for a certain community in Algeria, not every Algerian. So for a certain community in Algeria, they can go to this program. But I pitched my way, and I got selected, and I went with them to this program, and we met with others in Şehir University in Istanbul. So when we came back, I spent like 2 years, I guess, with doing nothing, literally nothing, just studying and having no opportunity or something. When I went first year in university, I remember my mom, God bless her, she told me, in university you are not going just to study like you did in high school. So go to clubs, go to associations, start developing yourself. I told her, Mom, this is not working, who is going there, and so on. So she kept insisting on me. No, don't study, go find these people. And I went to a club in university, and I met someone who told me that there is something called MUN. What is MUN? It is a debate, something. Okay. I went back to that person.
Can you explain like briefly what's MUN?
So MUN is
Just
like,
briefly, just to get the people idea.
so Model United Nations.
Yeah, it's Model United Nations.
Model
That's
United
what
Nations.
MUN stands for.
Yeah, so United Nations is the place where people or countries gather to talk about serious issues that the world is facing, and try to come up with solutions for each crisis. So in Model United Nations, the organizers hope or aim to have many people from university or high school to talk about real world issues and try to find a solution, so they can learn how to debate and how to make research, how to act and behave like a real diplomat. Yeah.
Also, like each person is supposed to represent a certain country. They are assigned to represent a certain country, so they do research about it and they represent it based on its real position in real life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in my experience with MUN, I was Most of MUNs I was representing France. I don't know why, but I always get France to represent.
I represent Iran.
Iran, yeah, I know. And you won.
Yes.
Yeah. So I represent France and Algeria MUN, my first experience with MUN. And then I went to Italy and I was defending the opinion of Ireland. Ireland, yes, concerning migration. So on Ingrid have a lot of history of migration, so I had a lot to say back then. And after that, I went to Austria, to Vienna, and it was magnificent. It was the best experience I ever had in my life, because the MUN was in the UN headquarters. So we were real diplomats back then.
They do have the UN headquarters in Vienna?
Yeah, there is, I think, 3 or 4 UN headquarters in the world.
No,
And
only the one in New York City.
so there is the New York City one. It's
Okay.
where there is the Security Council, right?
Yes.
And in Vienna, it's the Atomic Agency and UNHCR.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were at that headquarters. It's a huge headquarters. It's very huge. It's a maze, actually, not just huge. It's a maze. If you walk in a corridor, you think there is another one next to you, but it's not there. So when you finish this corridor, you cannot find the other one. But if you start from the beginning, you can find the other one. It's really a maze, and it's fascinating as a building.
Mhm.
The experience was also beneficial because the chairperson and the directors and so on of the committees were actual workers in the UN. So the debate and how they moderated the debate was very professional, and not like our MUN where they tell you to prepare working paper
Okay.
and so on. But there they do not tell you to prepare anything. They do not do a training for you. You just apply. You go there, and they are expecting that you know everything about that. So.
But that's like both good and bad at the same time.
Yeah, but usually they do not accept people who do not have previous experience.
Okay.
But how are they going to verify? Maybe you could just lie about the fact that you had that experience.
I mean, we had several people who came, and the same community as the same committee where I was,
Okay.
and they didn't have previous experience in UN.
Mhm.
They were high school students from Georgia, and from the first day they went to have lunch. Well, we went to have lunch, but they didn't have lunch with us. They went to a corner and they started working on their working paper and their position paper. They finished everything and they came back. Their way of debating changed from the first day to the second, third. So it is beneficial that way. Those chairs were moderating the topic, and the debates was very amazing and professional. It's not like we did, but it's way different. It's very professional.
You know, listening to you talking about your journey from like the camp in Turkey to your experience in Vienna with MUN, one thing that I noticed is that your network really matters, because based on your network, it's like there are different paths in the world, and certain paths will just appear to you based on the people who are surrounded by you. So if you're not surrounded by the right people, then you won't hear about many opportunities that exist out there. And I think that we all started from somewhere. We all started with a limited network, when the only people we knew were the people inside our family and in our neighborhood. That's all we know. We don't know people from like the other side. And then I think that internet was good at facilitating that, just connecting us with, I'm not sure how the first time we met. I think it was through Aiesec.
It was a recruitment of Aiesec, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We both wanted to join Aiesec back then. Yeah. So yeah, Aiesec was one way for us like to meet, but there are many people who met also on Facebook. And I think that your network plays a huge part in shaping your future and shaping where you're going to be. And so far, I think that you improved your network a lot, like the people you're surrounded with, like the people on World Learning, the people that you met in MUN, like Ahmed Laidi, people probably you met in Turkey. I'm not sure if you're still in touch with anyone.
Still in touch with them, yeah.
Yeah.
With everyone.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then you guys could meet, you could like share experience, work on a project together. It's just amazing. I think that people underestimate the power of network a lot. Network really, really matters. You know, who are the people, you know, who are the people you're connected with. Yeah. So did your network improve through the years because of MUN and World Learning and
So I will tell you this story, and then I will give you an advice to the audience
Okay,
about
sure.
networking. So I didn't do only like STEM and MUN back in university. So I did also something called a company program with Injaz, Algeria. Yeah. So when I was in first year university, as I told you, my mom told me to do everything, so I went to do everything. I participated in Injaz company program, and we worked like 1 year to create certain startup. The project was to recycle water used in sanitary and use it in garden.
Okay.
Yeah, so we created that project, and we met with many people from multinational companies and so on. That was my first like, let's say, my first way to get a stronger network, meeting with people from multinationals. And those people will facilitate, if you get them in your network, you will facilitate you to know even more people that they are working with,
Yes, right.
and so on. So I kept a good connection with these people, and they helped me a lot also to participate even in other events abroad. So if you are a university student, the first thing that you need to think about is, what do you want to be after graduation? So do you want just to complete your studies and be a normal worker at a company, if you find a company that will get you, or you want to enlarge your
Something bigger?
yeah, if you want to get many ways, I'd say
Maybe create your own project, create your own stuff.
create your own projects, or just, let's say, can I say this in Arabic?
Yeah, of course.
اوكي سو تفتح طرقان ليك نهار كي تكمل لا جراديواسيون تاعك تلقى تخير انت الطريق اللي حاب تمشي فيها.
Okay, yeah.
ماشي الناس يخيروا لك واش راك حاب دير. So if you get
Well, I don't think everyone has the confidence to do that. I see what you're saying, but I feel like a lot of people want something that's less risky. That's why they ask other people. I mean, I saw this even when students, before they choose their field, before they go to university, once they get their back, and then they're supposed to choose in which field they're supposed to study. Am I going to go to Del Ibrahim or Bouzaria or Babez or wherever? What am I supposed to choose? And so they go to ask teachers, they ask all students who had the experience.
Because they do not have the confidence.
Yeah, they don't have the confidence to choose what they want, because they want something that they don't want to make a mistake.
For that, there is one solution, which is doing STEM before going to university. And that's the aim of the STEM center, especially here in Algiers. So if you are a high school student and middle school students, come to the center or any other place who are doing STEM activities and try to do the maximum you can. So join chemistry, join robotics, join everything. Join any kind of workshops we are doing, and then you will discover yourself. You will discover what is the thing that suits you. And then when you go to university, when you get your baccalaureate, you will choose which specialty you want to do. If none of the STEM specialties works for you, then you know what you are going to do. Probably you like to study linguistics. You will go to and study linguistics. Probably you like more philosophy. You will go study philosophy, and so on. So this is what I advise to high school students and middle school students. They need to discover themselves, especially to parents. Actually, parents need to also to work with their children, not just ما نعولوش غير على students. So parents need to take care of their children, and they need to take them and let them see what they are able to do. So once we pass this, we go to university. In university, it's the period where you discover yourself. Discover yourself in terms of what you want to be in the future. So you selected your specialty that you are going to study, but what else can you do with that specialty? This is university.
Yeah.
So you will start going to clubs, you will start talking to teachers and asking them if there is any opportunities abroad and so on, because teachers in universities, they know the opportunities. They do not share, but they know. So if you go and ask them, they will tell you what they know. You go to the students who are with you in those clubs, and you ask them what they did in their life, what kind of projects they did, what kind of opportunities they got, and so on. So the students need to take the initiative. They need to be proactive. They need to search for the opportunity, while other people like us sharing those opportunities, but it's not enough. So the students need to search for his.
Probably what they need is just discovery. Maybe what they need is experience, because sometimes you have a dream. For example, let's say you want to be a doctor, but you don't know what the environment of medicine is. You don't know what they need to learn. You don't know the courses. You don't know about all that. You just like the image. You like the title of being a doctor, or called a doctor, or what the doctor does, like heals people. That's all. But maybe when you start studying that, you might discover yourself and feel like that's not what really suits you, you know. And we don't have that experience. People don't get like to have that experience, and so they end up just doing whatever their parents tell them, or whatever what society tells them. They just choose anything, and then they get stuck at university. They start missing classes. Probably they drop out. I know many people who went to Babez just because they say that the scientific and the technological field is there. It's there, and that's what's gonna guarantee that you're gonna have good future, good job. L'avenir, you know, that's it's you have to study in Babez, and then when you go there and you get stuck, you feel that doesn't suit you, so they just stop, they just drop out, and they're outside, they're jobless, or maybe they just try to find anything they can do. And maybe, just maybe, if they chose something else, something that's really passion for them, if they go to Buzariat to study like languages, or they go to the Ibrahim to study management, maybe they could find their passion then. They could find their goal there, their purpose, you know, something that they would really do something with it. And so I think that educating them to know how to decide for their lives is really important. It's like what you're trying to do is put in more people in the right place, putting more people in where they belong, helping them discover where they belong.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a very noble goal, and it's really amazing. And I think that you're proud of the work that you do. It's like it has a salary, of course, but it also has a meaning.
No, salary is not important, but really the feeling when you see someone succeeding in his life or his studies, while you were the key of that success, the feeling is amazing. Like you feel that you unlocked all the doors. It's everything. I cannot explain this in words, but the feeling is amazing.
Do you guys have like these, like they look like a graduation, where you just like give the certificates, like just party or like ceremony, just like?
We usually do that, especially when we have like special programs, like for example, Africa Code Week. So it's a let's say African event where people gather for 1 week and do coding workshops. So by the end of this, they do a small hackathon in the center.
All the World Learning Centers in Africa, they do it in the same way?
No, it's African World Learning, not just World Learning. So many other schools or entities in these African countries, they do this. It's a program sponsored by SAP, if you know them, SAP.
SAP?
SAP, yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so SAP, they do this Africa Code Week program. They sponsor it to many schools in Africa, so they can teach 1 week of coding. And this year it's a bit different. We will start it soon. We are posting the form soon. It's for middle school and high school students to create their own projects on Scratch and then submit it. We will review it and then choose 3 best projects on Scratch to let them compete in African competition.
All right, so just for the people who will listen to this podcast, just so they can know. So this is an opportunity coming soon for middle school and high school students. All right, and you will teach them.
We will teach them coding with Scratch, and then they will create their own projects.
Okay.
The jury members here in Algeria will choose 3 projects to represent Algeria in a national competition.
Okay, how are they going to find this opportunity?
International competition.
How are they going to find this opportunity? In World Learning Facebook page?
It's in Algiers STEM Center Facebook page, and also Africa Code Week Algeria Facebook page.
All right, so write that down, guys. All right, and where do they? Is it gonna be online?
Yeah, basically the training will be online for students, and also the competition, it's online. So these projects will go to the jury members, international jury members, and they will choose the best projects among 20 projects.
All right, that's amazing. That's amazing, man. So going back to your experience, I want you to tell us more about what you think about the whole youth culture, youth activism in Algeria, and what people our age are doing, like those who are organizing wiki stage, TED Talks, creating their own projects. They go to exchange programs, they learn, they come back, they coordinate, work together. Does this make you feel like more optimistic about like the future of Algeria?
It's a good fortune for Algeria, that's first, because having many youth, I think most of the youth, are doing activities either here in Algeria or abroad, and they are bringing or creating new ideas.
Wait, do you think that most of the youth?
Look, there is two kinds of the youth.
Okay.
There is youth who are doing things, let's say, modern, like we are doing. MUN,
Yes.
in jazz and so on, or going abroad. There is others who are not doing modern stuff. They are doing volunteering in the old-fashioned way, but it's the most...
But do you think that people who are doing that are the majority of the youth in Algeria?
yeah, despite...
Really?
Despite from wherever they come from.
No,
Yeah.
but seriously, I mean, when you walk outside, when you're driving your car outside, you know, like you see a lot of young people.
Yeah, I will tell you an example, just an example, a very small example of how Algerian youth are taking initiative.
Okay.
It depends if it's not sustainable, probably it's not sustainable, but they are taking initiative. So if you get your car broken in the middle of the road,
Okay.
and then two Yankees, let's say,
Yes.
they are walking by the street and they saw your car broken, what would they do?
They're gonna
That
help
would
you.
help you. Yeah. So this is taking initiative. It's in the hearts of Algerian, and that's a good fortune for Algeria. Like I said, we have people who are able to do many programs, able to create many opportunities. So if we gather these people and these people, it will be a good force for the.
Yeah,
other
but it seems to me that you're looking at the whole thing with like really colorful lens. Do you? I mean,
Yeah,
you're
we
looking at an
understand.
example when your car gets broken and two guys like come to help you. So that's volunteering. That's a good thing. But also there are many other examples. Did you read about like the violence that has been escalating? You know, lately.
So violence is escalating. Violence is escalating everywhere in the world, and that's something normal in the human history and the human. But
Oh my God,
volunteering,
It's decreasing actually. Violence is decreasing in the world. I mean, historically speaking, it has been
It's-
decreasing.
yeah, because in the past means of violence are more, how we say,
Means.
means of violence.
Okay.
The المناخ etc. يصلح
Yeah,
تكون
yeah,
violent.
yeah.
بصح now in our age it's hard to be violent. Even people who have violence in their heart, they cannot always
Because
be
probably
violent.
there's no profit from it.
Exactly. The Khadij, it's something different.
Yeah.
But having the initiative, having the feeling to take initiative, having the will to take initiative is something that I think we should be proud of, because we have it, many others don't. So if we focus on that side, on the bright side of having the will to take initiative, we can forget about the side that we have violence and we have.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's just, but sometimes you need to acknowledge that side exists in order to be able to like to come up with solutions and think about solutions. Like I understand what you're saying, and I know the bright side that you're talking about. I really do. But it's just that it seems to me there are also many desperate youth, many jobless people, many people who just want to go abroad on the boats. There are many people have parks illegally. They just want to take money, make money with any illegal way. A lot of stealing, a lot of.
It's a race. It's a race between people and another people. So if we are on the good side, then we need to win this race, and the others will lose that race.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about people who are doing or creating opportunities here in Algeria.
Yes.
So we have many associations or many individuals who are doing events like MUN, for example. Arif Abdel he is doing the MUN. MUN helped thousands of Algerians.
Yeah, it
to
helped me.
Yeah, and also me. It helped thousands of Algerians to discover themselves, to discover their potential, and also to meet new people and widen their horizon, to see
Yes.
other opportunities. So
That's true.
yeah, and I think in MUN, many people participated from different perspectives. Like there is people who are anglophone, people francophone, people ما عبروش
Arabophone.
مهم there is different people who participated in MUN, but they could work together. They became friends and they changed each other in a certain way. And that's what we need to focus on. We need to focus on opportunities like this to make everyone in this community work together, and each one will give to the other one something in their personality that will change them to the good. That's I think the solution for
I wish MUN was available for in every wilaya. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I like to focus on that because it just makes you more hopeful and more optimistic about Algeria. But also, I know that the reality says that I think that 70% of the population are like young people, right? In Algeria. So I know that we have a lot of young people out there. But like, I don't think that most of them are engaged in those activities and they know about them. Like, not everyone knows Aiesec, not everyone knows MUN, not everyone knows. I think that the majority don't know.
So let me ask you,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think people who are in Aiesec or in MUN or any other association
Yeah.
should do in this kind of situation? When we have people who doesn't know.
I think they are already doing their best.
Okay,
Yeah, I
that's
think-
great. So we come to agree that people who are doing good things are doing their best.
Yes,
Right.
I totally agree with that.
Okay, so there is something that we need to cross. There's something new. We need to cross our limits. So you are saying they are doing their best, but I think the thing that we need really to do is not the best, but to cross our limits.
Mm.
Okay, so we need to cross our limits. When I used to study, my sister used to tell me how many exercises did you solve. That I solved all the series. Then she tell me do another series, even though I've solved all the series that I have. Go fetch for another new series and solve it. It will help you to get good grades. So this is the thing. If we are taking initiatives, if we are making initiatives, if we are creating opportunities, we need to cross our limits. We do not just stand like, for example, I'm doing STEM, I will just stay in STEM. No. I can do volunteering with Dar Liyatama. I can do other opportunities. I can go in my vacation and do a teacher training for other people so they can help them to teach, for example. etc. So this is crossing the limits, crossing my abilities. And I think many people did this in other developed countries. That's why their countries now are developed. They crossed their limits. Back in the...
I think it was Germany who did this after World War II.
In 2 years, they crossed their limits.
Yeah. I think they dedicate the whole population dedicated, I think, 2 hours or 1 hour of volunteering.
For volunteering each day.
Yeah, each day.
Each day.
Yeah, that's really amazing. It's just that I think that if like most Algerians do that, I think that a lot of good things would happen.
بالعربية نقولوا التوعية. اسمها raising awareness is very important. The way we do it, we need to be pure in that. We talked earlier before this session.
Before the recording.
Yeah, before the recording, we said that there is some people who are doing things just to show off. And I told you that we can get even positivity from showing off. Because showing off will get people to know that opportunity. Will get people to know that there is something existing. Like I said, if you are in a southern region and one person is showing off, when we know in southern region we don't have many opportunities. So if a person is showing off,
that's better than not being in the picture at all.
Yes, exactly. So show off. If you have anything, show off and let other people know what you are doing, and so they can do it also.
So it's not about your intention. Your intention doesn't matter. It's just like the effect.
Yeah, that's for you. Your intention is with you. Either you want to succeed or you want just to live a dream, but share it.
That's an amazing way of saying it. You either want to achieve your dream or you just wanna
Feel it.
feel it.
So if you want to feel it, it's up to you. It's personal, but share it. Share what you are feeling. Share what you are thinking you are doing or you are doing. Share it.
Yeah, tell them about
This
it.
is a
exactly.
message for people who are still discovering themselves. But for people who are already doing great stuff, the only word is just cross your limits. You are doing your best, but cross your limits. That's it.
Yeah, it's just that I don't think that everyone gets inspired by people who show off. I think not everyone, that's gonna hold back some people and attract some people.
Well, yeah, true. But for me, as an example, MUN is from someone who showed off, and I joined MUN for that person. So I think it works. I think.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way of looking at it. I mean, I like your positivity.
I mean, you cannot live without that positivity.
Are you
If
happy every
you-
single day in your life?
Look, for example, we live in a country where they cut internet for a week because of an exam. So if we keep thinking of other negativities beside this, we will dive into an oblivion and we will not be awakened again.
So you're trying to find the bright side in
yeah,
every
so
single
always
thing.
find the bright side of everything. Even in his internet cut, ما قري ما كانش بصح شي القى bright side فيها.
That's really amazing, man. It's like you got like really calm attitude where you're just smiling
And
about
that's
everything happening.
That's thanks to one person also. His name is Mohammed Abdelaziz.
Okay.
He was my, let's say he's my mentor. He's still my mentor,
Mhm.
and he was my supervisor at World Learning. He is, if we are still in the time of prophets, I will name him a prophet. He is just amazing in the way he sees things, in the way he processes what is happening in any
Wise.
action. He's wise. He's wise. He's a pioneer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
How did he affect you?
he affected not only me, he affected many people. And he changed the way we see life and the way we process things at work or at family or anything.
So he works
So-
with you in World Learning.
Yeah. He is a World Learning employee, but despite that, his personality is something special. And he
Maybe
sees
we
everything.
invite him to the podcast.
I think if he's here in Algeria, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So he's positive. He influences people positively because of his positive attitude.
He is a source of positive energy. He is like the source of positive energy. Yeah, and as I told you, the way he sees opportunities, the way he sees what people are doing or what we need to do is very different from what normal humans see. And I can have many people testify this.
Okay. I think there was only one person, like one scientist, who made me feel like this. His name is Steven Pinker. When he was, he did like a very famous presentation where he talked about how violence is decreasing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, like, when people watch the news, they're like, "Wow, the world is getting like worse. There's a lot of violence out there. You know, things are dark," and then they start feeling bad. But when they read history, they're gonna find much more horrible things. And then he was talking about, for example, how in Rome back in the days they used to set animals on fire, and then they are all just like yelling, and because of that, because of when they hear the animals like screaming, they're just, people are enjoying and they're just yelling to it. It's just like a sport for them. And then he was talking about all the wars that used to happen. And so he said like violence was a really big thing back then, and now it's actually decreasing. Like we went from human right to women's rights to animal rights, and now we're talking about the climate change. And you know, like, so human beings like started from where they were just hunter-gatherers, they were just hunting each other for food and profit and wherever, and now they care about more things than just and probably that's because we're wealthier than ever. We have electricity, we have water, you know, we don't need to cross mile, even though this still exists in some places. But for the majority, I think, in the world, I'm not sure if it's the majority, okay, don't quote me on that. But I think that human beings are living in a really better conditions in comparison with the past. And when I was verifying, I was thinking about all of that. I was like, yeah, that's actually true.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Sure.
So, do you think it's a change in human nature, or humans are adapting to a certain change?
I think that they are the ones creating change. Technology.
But their
We created
nature is still
technology.
there.
Yeah, nature is still there. We adapted to it. We adapted to nature, but also we're creating new things.
Nice.
You know, there was this philosopher who once said, like, imagine if we, I don't know, if we go back to into the past, like 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, and we come to those people with a plane or helicopter
Yeah.
or something, they would think that we are gods.
Gods.
Like, what the hell? They came from the sky. These are the people our ancestors used to tell us about.
Yeah.
You see? But now, I mean, we have all these technological tools, and it's like really, I mean, you go to the plane and you just want to sleep until you get there. Like, you don't care.
Don't you think that having a less percentage of violence these days is due to people being busy?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone has some. I think that when people have work, they tend to be less focused on each other. They don't care about what the other
Less focused on their humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so-
exactly.
Food or eating is a part of the human nature, and do you agree on that?
I do.
So, do you play video games?
I do.
Okay, so if you are playing video games for like 7 hours, do you think that you are hungry? Do you have that feeling? No.
Well, sometimes you do.
Sometimes, but
But
you
you
eat
really
chips
don't.
and something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like
You don't want to stop the game for 1 hour to go to eat. You want
Exactly.
maybe to eat while playing the game.
to
or
eat while
something.
playing. So because you are busy in that game,
Yes.
so you start forgetting about your human nature stuff.
Mm.
Same thing for violence, I think. So many people who are seen to be violent or do violence in the street or at their home are people who are usually not having a job, or people who don't have a life or do not study or
Yeah, that's what I think. Joblessness create all this mass.
exactly. So if we get these people busy, they will probably be away from violence. And that's where it comes also education. So why education is just concentrated on going to university and getting a degree and then work? Why it cannot be something that you can do while you are not in university, and with that you can actually work, or you can create your own startup and then your own company. So we can get back to the example of the guy who's working with me now, Yusri, who is 19 years old. As I told you, he's a dropout from university. He didn't continue university. He stopped his year in the university for 2 years now. But if he didn't find a STEM center to help him, to give him the opportunity to learn more, to study by himself, and also to innovate and create innovative projects. He's creating very innovative projects. How can he live the next years of his life if he didn't find this? He will certainly be بعد شرى ينكي رايح بلش.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the moral advice is create more things in people's life, create more
Keep
opportunities.
them busy.
Yeah, get them busy.
Keep them busy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I was talking about like what technology has done to people, to humans on a global scale. There is also this nice quote where it says that now a child in Africa has a smartphone, a better technology than than what the U.S. president had 50 years ago. And so, if you go back 50 years ago, they didn't have like this smartphone. Okay, what this smartphone can do was probably like a big computer in a room. You know, but now you can actually talk to people. They can see you were there on the other side of the other planet. Like, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you think about it, like that almost seems impossible. Like, how could you appear on a screen? You know, like where are these?
صورك ما يطرح.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how am I getting this?
Yeah.
You know, but we don't think about all these things. And the more you think about them, you feel like, wow, now I'm driving my car. Yeah, it's taking me an hour, for example, to go to my place. But when I think about how it used to be back then, like 1,000 years ago, I could be, I don't know, sitting on a camel and maybe spending a day on the road, you know, with the heat of the sun. And now I am with the AC inside, listening to music, and I'm just sitting in a chair, and it's going, you know, when you think about all of that, I think you tend to feel like really better about the life conditions that you have, even though you think that, oh, okay, I live in Algeria, third world country in Africa, and we're not living as good as people from Western countries. But when you think about the age you're living in, you're supposed to be grateful. You're supposed to be really appreciative, because people suffered much, much, much more than you in the past. You know, they didn't have all those privileges. I think that's one way of how I keep myself positive, but you have your own way, right? You have your own way of being optimistic. So yeah, I think feeling optimistic. That, by the way, does feeling optimistic and positive help you in your job?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah, it does. It does, because sometimes I think every employee in the world feel this. Sometimes you have tasks that have, for example, no sense, or they just cannot be fit in your program. Time is not well designed. You don't have necessary tools to do that. But if you feel positive about it, and then you think that you are able to make it work despite all the challenges that you are facing, then you can do it. But if you keep thinking, Kima, usually what I see in many people who are working at the Doula,
you mean public
companies, they just do not take initiative. They just think, هذه ما تصلحش, I can't do it. But they do not think, how can we do it differently? How can we make it work? Like, for example, I wanted to I still want to organize a national competition in robotics, but online, virtually, using software, and where they can build their robots online and make it do certain challenge online also. And it was supposed to happen in August, right? And everything was set, promise was given to be in August. I failed. I didn't do it in August. But I didn't lose faith. I'm still working on it. And I'm going to make it, despite that the deadline فات وكلش, but I'm doing it. This competition is going to happen anyway. So this is the feeling. اسمها optimistic و positively thinking و the will, having the will that you are going to make it.
Yeah, the will and commitment.
ما يهمش الوقت, بصح you are going to make it. That's it.
All right. Thank you so much for coming, Achraf. I hope that people will benefit a lot from like your experience and also the opportunities that you guys provide World Learning. Hopefully we're gonna have you again sometime soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and take care and have a good day. Bye.